Hey BookTube, it's Gabby Sunshine and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be the page to screen tag, and the original video is linked below. Nobody tagged me, but I do love movies and I do love books and I do love talking about both. And so I am tagging myself and I'm going to be answering the 13 questions that go along with this tag. First question is, what is a story that made you cry in both formats, book and movie? And that is going to be Marley and Me. I am a huge sucker for dogs. I just cry every single time. Next question is, what is a page to screen coming out this year that you're excited about? And for me, that is 9 Perfect Strangers. I read this book last year and it wasn't my all-time favorite book, but it was super interesting and I can't wait to see how it plays out on screen. It's about 9 people who come to this health retreat and things kind of go wrong, and it's really interesting. I can kind of see how a lot of the characters would be portrayed by the actors that they've kind of chosen and how well the story will play out on screen, and so I'm very excited for that. The next is, what is a series that was on screen that you're glad is discontinued? And that's going to be Percy Jackson, and I think anybody who read Percy Jackson and then saw the movies is also upset by that. Specifically Annabelle, I lost it when I saw Annabelle on screen for the first time and I was just like, no honey. And so the fact that they didn't continue on is just gracious to everyone. The next is, what is a book series that you would love to see become a page to screen? And for me, that is Unwind by Neil Shusterman. It is a super interesting story about kind of an alternate future and where parents can decide to have their children essentially become voluntary organ donors. I think it's on their like 16th birthday. So if the parents just find the kids useless, they can just goodbye and they can get disassembled. So seeing that series come to life on screen would be so much fun. There are so many YA series that have come to the screen. I just feel like this one could be even better. And so if you can make that happen and you're listening, make it happen. Something that's in production that you're excited about, and for me that's going to be The Selection, and I haven't read this, but it is on my TBR. I'll be reading it very soon, and I really like the concept, and I know so many people have read this book and are very excited about it, and I feel like I'm saying this for everything, but it would just be a really great story to see on screen from what I know about it, and how many other people are excited about it make me excited about it. Next question is, what is a page in a screen that you just regard as 2 separate entities? And for me, that's going to be The Shining, and I'm sure a lot of other people feel that way. The book is incredible on its own. The movie, incredible on its own. However, when you start looking them as the same story, it just misses the mark. And I know a lot of people don't necessarily like the movie because of the book, but I just regard them as 2 separate. I also feel this way about Battle Royale. I feel like there is definitely some choices made in the movie to kind of simplify whatever's going on in the book. It's pretty close. It's not as different as The Shining, but I love both, but in 2 separate entities, not comparison as a book to screen, if that makes sense. And so both of those kind of work for this prompt for me. What is a hyped page to screen that you didn't like? For me, it was The Hunger Games. I was just kind of sitting there at the end and I was like, what? I am obsessed with Josh Hutcherson, but just like his blonde hair in the movie just totally puts me off, and just the ending of the Hunger Games movie, I was just a little bit confused. More things happen in the book that weren't included, and I feel like those were probably kind of important things. And I actually haven't seen Catching Fire or Mockingjay Part 1 or 2 because I just never got around. I just never felt the need to watch them. Okay, the next question is, what is the best page to screen in my opinion? For me, that's going to be Crazy Rich Asians. The book was kind of a DNF for me. Just like getting into it and kind of reading about how rich they were, it was kind of annoying. It just wasn't exactly something I wanted to like keep reading, but I absolutely loved the movie. Absolutely loved the movie. It was just stunning and the story was really nice and I cried so many times watching it. Next question is, what is a page to screen adaptation that had a better ending on screen? And for me, that's going to be The Mist by Stephen King. I'm not going to really say why. The choices that they made and how they made it end like work really, really well for what kind of movie it is, and that's absolutely not at all how the book ends, and so I think that was a really great choice on their part. What is a series you watch on screen that you would love to see as a book? And I can't even think of that. I watch a lot of TV, but I just can't think of what would make good books. I love American Horror Story, but I just don't think, I think for me it's the visuals and how beautiful it is, and I love the actors, so I don't necessarily think it would make a good book for me. Another thing I watch a lot, I love Scandal, and I think that would be kind of fun, you know, like the murder part and the political part, and I'm sure there are books out there like it. If you know anything that's kind of similar, please recommend it to me. I just haven't like gone out there and sought it out, but Scandal is one of my favorite TV shows, and so that would be really interesting. I also really love like Grey's Anatomy and 911, but those are kind of episodes where like each episode is kind of its own movie, and so I can't really see any of that working well into a book. So my answer for this one is going to be Scandal. And then, what is a page to screen that you haven't read or watched yet because you can't decide which one to do first? And this one I immediately knew right away because I just literally can't decide. It is Pride and Prejudice. I want to consume this story so bad, but I'm just not a big classics person, and you know, I'm like working into it, but I just have such an like engineering brain that like classics just don't easily flow in at all. But I want to read it so bad, and I want to be a lover of it so bad. And I want to watch the movie, but I love books, and so I don't want the movie to spoil me reading the story for the first time. But I feel like maybe if I watch the movie, it'll make the book easier to read, and so I'm kind of in that predicament literally right now. And I have been for the past like month, and I just can't decide what to do. So if you have recommendations, please let me know. The next question is, what is a page to screen that you could live without? And for me, this is Cirque du Freak. Love the book. Love the book. Movie? No words. And then the last question is, what is a recent read that you would love to see on screen? And for me, that is I'm Thinking of Ending Things. And the only reason why I want to see it on screen is because I found out that it's like coming out on Netflix, and I saw a few people of who they cast to play certain characters, and I am super excited for that. I think it's a really unique story. It's just kind of one of those books that you're like, oh. And I have no idea how they're going to make it into a movie. Like, just logistically, it does not make sense to put into a movie. And I feel like if you didn't read the book, you'll probably be super confused. But I definitely want to see it on screen, and so hopefully that didn't get postponed with everything that's going on. All right, that is my answers to the page to screen tag. Like I said in the video, if you have recommendations for books like Scandal, or whether or not to watch the movie first or read the book first for Pride and Prejudice, I'd love to hear your opinions. Otherwise, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. You all mean so much. You guys are the best.